This is Justin AMZN for Wednesday, May 29th, 2019. Today we had a gap down from yesterday being a slightly bullish candle, so it makes it a bearish gap and go. We had a lot of indecision at first. Really nice bullish candle, indecisive. We did actually break that low with the next candle, shot back up with a bullish engulfing, and then started coming back down here. Got a smaller candle here and here that then broke bearish with a hammer and then an inside candle and then another hammer that was bullish engulfing of the previous one, bouncing off of 1815, only to run up and stay, make a lower low with an evening star reversal. We made a higher low, lower high here and a higher low here, making a triangle that came into a really small candle. I think this was the smallest candle, maybe except for one of these. Let's see, this one was range of $1.74 for 5 minutes, $1.84, 3, 2. So yeah, that was the smallest candle on the day at this point, and then from there it broke down. And so this would have been a great place. I mean, you got an inside candle, you wanted to break bearish because it's a bearish gap and go, and it does. And so you could have just had a setup where you're getting in below the bearish candle's low, kind of triggering, continuation of that bearish candle. Stop, conservative stop up here, aggressive stop probably above the bearish candle, and take a little bit off at 1815. It actually throws a small hammer and then continues lower. Looks like it's going to bounce here with like a morning star reversal. Then that gets taken out, and then just kind of grinds back up into 1815 and rolls over. And this is where I expected it to just collapse all day and get into the 1700s, and it did not. It actually double bottomed here with 1815 its neckline, did a retest with a hammer, and then started to go, and you get this inverted hammer, which is right at that same candle here. So I'm seeing the apex, the triangle here. We retested the apex on a bearish gap and go. So triangle, breakdown, and here's your, this becomes basically an S curve. It's kind of hard to see. Let me draw it. This is, where's the drawing tool? So this is what I'm seeing. So here's your triangle. That was a very bad drawing. Okay, triangle, breakdown, double bottom. Let's clear all that. Let me redraw this. Okay, triangle. This is your double bottom, neckline retest, and it should go, right? That's a normal double bottom. Well, in this case, the bearish gap and go is a little more important. And so, wow, that was not a straight line. Let's try that again. That's a little better. I do like that we closed right on that same apex. So we had our primary retest, secondary retest, but your S curve is really more so like this. You can kind of squint, and this is where I would expect it then. Since it didn't go there, it's like, oh, it can retest and it should continue lower. Let's see if we can draw it a little smoother. There we go. That was a little better. All right, can I clear my drawings? Oh, there they go. All right, so that's the S curve, and this is a great place. You had really amazing resistance right here. Only this bearish candle had a breakup above it, and that immediately got sold back down. Originally, this was, let me zoom in here. This was looking like a stair step here with a couple of hammers, continuing higher. It started to, and then it got sold back down. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 40 minutes here, you're holding this resistance, including this candle, because you had an open here, but your close is down here, and all you do is wick up. Great place to go bearish here as it's coming back into this, but obviously this means there were bulls that were trying to buy this up, and you had a little bit of a higher volume there. And it just wasn't a bullish day on Amazon. And this was a great place for us to roll over. So let's start here looking at options, looking at puts. This is the 1800 put. Sorry, I forgot to grab what time that was. That candle was 1250. So at 1250, we were over here. So 1250, there you go. So basically a setup like 9 by 8, um, or getting in at 8, on a pullback, because 8 by 7 was pretty much working, except for this tiny little bit here. You got it below 7. But 7 by 8, I'm sorry, 8 by 7 was working here to 3R, here to 2.5R. No, 1.5R. Wait, I said 8 by 7. Sorry. 2R to 10, 1.5R to 9.5. From here went all the way up to 13. So that would have been 5R, and then again over here, if you're getting in 8 by 7 or something else, but 8 by 7 up to 12 here. But any of these you could have gotten 2R except for this one. But the question is, would you have been stopped out here, or would you have held through this pullback or added more because you won earlier, and then let that run a little bit past, get past this high to 10, and then see, oh, it got to 10, and it's not really selling back off, and you move your stop up below this low, so you're at like 875, and then below this low, and then below this low, and then below this low, and then you get stopped out at 1150. So, that could have been another way to trade this. Let's see here. So that was taking this bearish here. You did have a little bit of pause here, and I really liked how this sat. I think, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday you had something very similar. It's really just like a double bottom on a 5-minute, or I'm sorry, it's like a double bottom on a 1 or a 2 or a 3-minute that you just don't see the details of on a 5-minute. And so this one yesterday actually broke bullish immediately, broke bullish. And then this one today, it did the double bottom thing, but it didn't go bullish. It held a new resistance. So you had a resistance here, and then a step down, and then a resistance here, and then you actually had, instead of a double bottom, you actually were bouncing or breaking down here. And so whatever that's called, where it's a double bottom that just continues lower. It's not a double bottom anymore. It's something else. I don't know. I don't even know what shape that'd be, but some sort of double S thing. I don't know. But that broke down. But this was just sitting right here on 1815, and so the opportunity to get in bearish was here, a little bit here, but that would have been as this was breaking down. So probably around 9 by 8 or 10 by 9, something like that here. Could have just taken that for 2R, and that would have been a nice gain, going from here back down to the established low of the day, making a slightly lower low from this one, but still maintaining that low of the day. And so really today, once we had this triangle break, all we did was do some zigzags back and forth here. We had this initial smaller double bottom with 1815 the neckline. Then we turned into, oops, didn't mean to click like that, sorry. If you let's take a step back. Take a step back, I'm seeing a bigger double bottom here. Let me get my sketch tool back out. I'm seeing a bigger double bottom like this, with that triangle, being the apex point of the neckline. And so the question will be, for tomorrow, are we going to do something like that? Can we bounce, retest the neckline and bounce, and challenge some of the levels back up here, at least get back up to 1841.30? Is it possible? Yeah, I guess so. We did it over here. I don't know if I call this a double bottom, but I mean, it was something like that, right? Yeah, it's kind of an ugly double bottom. Just turns into a little bit of a channel, small channel that ends up breaking bullish. And, we could do that same thing here today, where we have this channel just breaking up bullish and get a nice pop from here. So if we do that, look for, this to become the continued channel. So I guess really it's this, but we pushed out a little bit. If we can get going bullish, we should at least come back probably around 1850. That was, or 1860. That was near the apex of this triangle. We did kind of a, like I talked about here, where we had kind of a first retest, a secondary retest. you could count this breakdown here, this as a first retest, this as a second. So it doesn't have to get up that high. But I guess I'm kind of looking for that to move a little more bullish. The only thing that really doesn't suggest it is that this was a bearish gap and go, and it started to go. It could totally continue lower, breaking below this line at 1815 and really getting a close below there. If we do get a close below there, it probably means some more bearishness. If we can gap up and get a close above the 5 here, we haven't had that since back on the 16th. So a bullish candle close. We had this close and we had but I mean, we haven't had a bullish candle close since this day. And then before that, it was way up here right after it made kind of a new high. So it would be really nice to see some bullishness pick up. There'll be some pausing points at the exponentials. We'll see if we can get that kind of a move higher, and then see if we get a continuation to go up, or see if we can break down. And I'm still looking at the 1747 price to be a nice target if we do continue to break down. It's a good place to look to take some profits and to look for a reversal to be buying this back up at that price. So we'll see if we actually get another gap. This is a really nice indecisive candle right on a very clear level that has been, a good place to trade around for. So 1815, did that just move? I think that just moved. No, 1815. Why does it say 1819? Oh, that was the close. Never mind. That red line matched up with that one. Never mind. That was not the case. So, this was a resistance here, support here, trying to see if it's going to hold the support. We've had more interactions, a bounce here off of 1747. Let's see. A roll over here, roll over here, roll over here, and then we broke through it here and then did this retest. So, this is a primary retest. This could be a secondary retest coming to that price, and then we could be off to the races again. So, again, this is just a bigger S curve if we have that sort of picture come up. We've interacted with that. On the way down here, S curve here, and then even this, I mean, that was resistance for this kind of sideways S curve. So we'll see if we'll see what value plays out. But those are the kind of the key ones now: 1815, 1841.30, and 1747 as a target if we get a close down here. So yeah, let's see, anything bullish on this today. A little bit of opportunity buying off of 1815. Really nice hammer down here. This would have been great when this was coming down here. You're losing the bearish momentum. It didn't really look like it was going to continue. This massive candle come in with some buying that we ended up taking out a little while later. But this was a great opportunity to buy here. You did a double bottom. You've totally retested back to kind of the bearish closing price. This was one that you probably could have just set up to just be buying right here. Maybe after this candle forms, since at one point it looked really bearish. But this is not the place to go short when it's a bearish gap and go. The place to go short is when it's retracing. If it does, even to reversal, bearish engulfing, that breaks down here. So this is not the time to go short. This is the time to look for some support to come in, even though it's not one of the lines. It really did a good job bouncing there. So this price this time, 9, 10, and 12 o'clock were good times to buy calls. So 9:10 is right here. This is the 1825 call. That's a little bit expensive. Here, while we're here, we'll just look at 12 o'clock. So this is one you could have been doing 10 by 9. I like that setup. 10 by 9 up to 12, 13, something like that. That worked. You got to be a little further out of the money at the open, it looks like. So let's look at these and see. Okay, 9:10 candle was something you could have set up 550 by 450. That only went, it didn't even go up to 650. Yeah, that's the challenge of this, is that you're, yeah, it just, I mean, that just didn't give you a nice move, or I'm sorry, that didn't give you a nice move up from that kind of bounce. You really would have had to been getting in on that low. So that would have been closer to like doing, 5 by 4 and getting out at 6, just a quick fade. So that would have been a nice move there. Also would have been good to reverse that move and just, carry the, catch the rollover. So really nice triangle today, and just some retests to the, straddling at 1815, but some nice retests to this level. We'll see what we do with this triangle. If you do zoom out a bit more, you can still see, or at least this is what I'm seeing, is if you kind of grab, this is a little bit of a challenge. I was going to say, if you can grab a couple of key prices, I mean, this is still lower highs like this. This actually made kind of an even high. Let's see, the high here is 1821.62. The high here is 1821.50. So I guess we did actually make a higher high at the close. So that's interesting. We'll see what that ends up doing. Set us up for any sort of bounce. A nice pullback here, nice S curve here. Be nice to see something like this on expiration Friday, that you can just be buying at a level and just let it run more and more into the money, like buying an 1815 call here that, as it moves out of the money down to this price, just get in and then get out once it moves up. But that would have been, hitting a target here, or just kind of scalping something on its way back up. But anyway, I guess be back tomorrow and see how things are going to go. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is just AMZN. Thanks.